All right, thanks for tuning in. This is another interview with the Runner Washington. Keenan Gray here, as always. Today, we are joined by an outstanding individual from Jackson High School, graduate of 2017. I didn't even realize he's the same age as me. Matthew Watkins, currently a junior at WSU, will be a senior next fall. So, Matt, how's it going, dude?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
For the most part, we're just hanging in there with all this quarantine stuff. But give me your perspective. Where are you at right now, and how you're dealing with it?
Oh, I'm just back home in Mill Creek, doing what I can, running, kind of enjoying being back with my family because obviously being in school, I don't get to spend much time with them. So just making the most of what I can.
Awesome. So it was kind of an interesting year, obviously, with the fact that there was not going to be a spring season. So what was your initial thought going in to the outdoor track season?
Because we kind of heard some rumors that it might happen and there might be a chance that we won't get to compete. But for the most part, we were just being told, let's just train as normal, everything that's going to happen. Just train like there will be a season. So going into it, we kind of had the mindset that if there's a race, that's great. We're going to get to go out there and do what we can. And if not, it's understandable.
Mhm.
I've kind of come to terms with it, but at the moment when it first happened, I was a little ticked off. Obviously not what I wanted, but it is what it is.
Looking back at your indoor season, do you feel like you've accomplished what you wanted to do? I'm looking at a couple of your times from the MPSF Indoor Championships, a PR in the 3,827. Talk about that race a little bit.
Not really what I wanted. Indoors never really been a big thing that I like, but just kind of finishing with a nice college PR was pretty I don't know, decent. Uh, just I kind of went into it, doing the 5K the night before. I was like, okay, this will just be a fun race, see what happens. And coming out with the PR was a little nice to see, but I just know that I had so much more to give that I didn't get to show. But I'm pretty happy to end the way I did.
What was it like, excuse me, coming back home? Obviously, you've done it a few times running at Dempsey because that's the only indoor track facility we have in the state of Washington. But what's it like coming back every time and having your family come watch you since Everett, Mill Creek area is like a half hour away?
Oh, it's great. I love having my family here, always seeing them and supporting them. It's always good after, either good race, they're there to, cheer you on and support you. And even after a bad race, they'll be right there. Just like, back in high school when they're always there to help out if I needed anything after a race. And always having my friends. I got a lot of friends at UW. So having them just be there and come to watch is always really fun because I get to see them again and talk to them. And it's nice to catch up for a little bit, even though the in between the moments.
Now, in terms with cross country season, I wasn't able to find a lot of stats for you, but I'm assuming you participated this fall.
Yeah, yeah.
So, how did you feel you did as an individual?
I felt pretty good, especially the way it ended at West Regionals. Unfortunately, we missed qualifying for nationals this year, but I finished 30th overall in the West region. Kind of ran an interesting race for myself. At one point, I was, leading the chase pack of the two top guys, and was finding myself in an awkward situation, but ended with the 10K PR and was really happy with just the way it all ended. Obviously would have been happier if I got to race at nationals. But overall it was a good experience, good season, a real good learning opportunity for me. So hopefully I can take what I've learned and bring it to next year.
Now, when you do look at that West Regional meet, obviously it wasn't the greatest conditions in the world that day. I remember being down there and it was just miserable, pouring down rain. But you guys were able to take down a UCLA team that was ranked highly in the entire nation. So, what was that like for you guys to accomplish that? But also kind of like throwing mixing some things up for the spots to go to nationals.
Yeah, kind of going into that, it was a really interesting meet because obviously being in Colfax, just right down the road, it was our home course and everything. So we knew what to expect from the course. And when the weather was bad, we just kind of right when we got there huddled up and said, "Look, guys, half of these teams are checked out. They're not going to be ready. They don't want to put in the work for this right now. So as long as we're the tougher team and we run our course the way we know it's run, we know there's going to be a good outcome, and we know that we could." Come out with something, even if it's just beating a top ranked, highly ranked UCLA team and pulling a bit of an upset. So it was also kind of an emotional meet, since it's
Mhm.
like this could be some of the seniors' last meets. So we had that team mentality that it wasn't just like another race for us. It was like this is the big one. Obviously not getting into the nationals, that would have been the biggest one, but
Mhm.
it was for our season. That was what we were focused on. Home meet, kind of bad weather. The way we were a little bit hoping, not as bad, but we were hoping for something bad, and just went out there and ran.
Now, in terms of running in Pullman with so many hills, I mean, what's your favorite part about being in Pullman? Because let's be honest, there's not a lot there to do other than participate as an athlete. Now, if you go as a student, maybe there is some other things, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot to do in Pullman. So, what do you do with yourself in your free time?
Um, I just a lot of it's hanging out with my team. I hang out with my girlfriend a lot, but most of the time I am just practice again for weights and stuff. Coming back, doing some homework, and then hanging out, playing some video games and stuff, just relaxing. Um, in the training room a lot too, just because that's a big part of what we have to do. So, but weekends is long runs, football games if there is any,
Mhm.
basketball games if there are any, and just trying to enjoy extracurriculars that we can. With
Mhm.
being an athlete, obviously there's a lot of time we don't have, but the free time we do is just trying to have some fun or relax. Just depending on what mood I'm in.
What's been your most favorite part about college football is a pretty big deal in Pullman, obviously with the recent success of what the Cougs have done recently. You got a chance to watch Gardner Minshew, so what was that like?
It was something else. I actually woke up super early to go to the game day when we played Oregon in
Mhm.
Pullman, and just having game day there and seeing all those people out there to support the Cougs, and then the sold out game, storming the field. It was really cool just to experience that, and Minshew mania just kind of took over, and now
Mhm.
it's kind of taken over the NFL. So just to be able to say like I was there when he played and everything it's pretty cool to be able to do that. So I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of the success that comes from athletics kind of goes off on other athletics. So if one team's doing well, everyone's pretty hyped, everyone's supporting each other. So it's really, really good to see.
Now, there's one individual that stands out to me the most for the Cougs, and he's actually from my hometown. Ran at Seoul High School, and that's Connor Johnson, or not Connor Johnson. His brother Colton Johnson. His brother Connor was already ran there prior to that. What's it like running with Colton, and how his success in the steeplechase would have looked like this spring?
I think that this would have been a fantastic season for Colton. He was more motivated than I've ever seen him before. Really focused, obviously had a fantastic indoor, showed everybody, that he could step up and be a fantastic runner. I'm really upset that I didn't get to see his steeple.
Mhm.
He really wanted to do steeple, but he was also kind of considering, the 5K with his recent success. So
Mhm.
I think he would have been some great things, and I believe he could have been a national qualifier, if not an All-American, with what he had when what he was doing.
Now, looking into the future, because the next thing for you is cross country, what are the expectations not only for you but for the Cougs going forward into the fall?
Uh, you know, right now, I mean, obviously, just hoping there is a season,
Mhm.
but the expectations are pretty high. With the success we had last year and kind of the moves we made, we're returning some good guys and we're getting some more people in that we think can really help us out. So the expectations are to make national, to be one of the best teams in the West. We're hoping to upset a lot of people. Obviously right now we got the group chat going, just trying to support each other throughout this long summer that we've been stuck with, I guess. But there's some big expectations, and I think that if we work hard enough, we can definitely reach what we think we can.
Well, you got to get through my Zags first. All those guys over there ready for the revenge tour in Spokane to get going this fall. But yeah, you guys had a great cross country season, and it was enough to look forward to. What's the recruiting class looking like for this incoming freshman?
We got some great guys coming in. Start off, we got Cooper, who I noticed you interviewed on Instagram
Mhm.
a while back. Great guy, obviously can bring a lot in the mid distance with his mile and stuff. And then we have Jacob Eason, who we are really hoping can step up and cross and kind of motivate the freshmen and stuff. Then we have a guy from Germany, Pascal, great guy, can bring a lot in the 800. He's a 147 guy, so we're hoping that it translates over to cross and he'll be able to get some good times and help out the team. Looking pretty good. Good recruiting class and everything. They're pretty motivated, so I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob had one of the best starts, I guess, to his senior season last fall, winning 3 races at the beginning of the year. So it was a privilege to cover him. So and it's cool to see him that he'll be able to run for you guys and provide some help for you. But let's go back to your time as a Jackson Timberwolves. I mean, dude, your senior season, had you told me what you ran your junior year and you said you would have ran this your senior year, I wouldn't have believed you. But you go out there and you become one of the greatest 3,200-meter runners of all time in the state of Washington. Can you explain what that breakthrough race at Arcadia was like for you, running 8:48?
So, that was definitely a race that we've had circled for a while. Obviously, everyone knows the prestige of Arcadia. So my coach and I kind of had a game plan right after cross, take a quick break, focus up, and we knew that indoor was going to be the key to even getting in the race. So I ran 2 indoor races that senior year, the UW high school invite, and then I ran a random UW open meet down there, and I won heat 2 of some random thing. And I ran 8:23, and that was good enough to equal out to being around a 9 flat. So we used that to the converted time to get into Arcadia. And then from there, it was just straight focus on what I can do, working on reps at that pace and everything like that. But the race itself, I mean, to be honest with you, I was a little starstruck when I got there, seeing all these big names in running that year and everything. And I just found myself in the race, and I just knew that as long as I held on and kind of stuck with the pack, that something good was going to happen. I didn't expect it to be that fast of a time, but it was great to look up and see that.
Because in terms of that, you look at your sophomore time, you run 9:41, and then you make a 30-second jump in your junior year, which that's an incredible jump. Then why not just throw in another 27-second jump into that? So what did you change in your training in the offseason? Obviously, finishing second at the cross-country state meet your senior year kind of fueled you a fire a little bit. But at the same time, it was like, that's insane. You're dropping 27 seconds from what you did prior to the season, dropping 30 seconds.
I think everything was actually, motivated from that cross-country meet, because I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I knew what I could do. Junior year coming in third at state in track for the 32 kind of motivated me, knowing that I'd be the top returner in the 32 next year for 4A. But then falling short in cross just kind of pushed it. And I went up to my coach and I said, what can I do? I'm going to be the best that I can be. And it just really pushed me to, look at training differently, look at everything I was doing differently, recovery, health, everything like that, like eating, even hydration. A lot of times I wouldn't be paying attention to that, but senior year and from now on, from then on, I've been focused on drinking my water all the time, and just like the little things that I kind of tweaked to kind of really focus up and have a successful season.
So the state meet, you get there. Which one was first, 16 or 32? Which race was first?
16 was first.
So you go in, finish second, 4:11. You're like, dang it, I can't seem to get over the hump of winning a state championship. So what was your mindset going into that race? And then a couple days later, you're going into the 3,200.
After that 16, it seemed like in my head that I couldn't do it. It was just like I've fallen short twice now, both the Camus guys, which kind of ticked me off a bit, but they're great guys. And we got the medal, and I actually kind of was like, I don't want to see another second place medal. I want to see that, I want to see the blue ribbon, the gold. And I went back to my hotel and I called my friend and I was like, I don't know what to do. And he goes, just run. And going into that 32, I think the thing that was different was I had the mindset then that I could do it. And going into the 16, you know, it's like, well, can Daniel out kick me? Like what's going to happen? There was an if, and then going to the 32, I was like, no, this is my race. Like, look at the season. I've got this. And I turned on a switch that I have been trying to turn on a lot. You know, sometimes I'll turn it on, but sometimes it just doesn't. But I knew in that race that it'd be different.
So what did Coach Harushka tell you going into day 2 for you? And you finally do win that state championship running 9:16.
You know, going into that, it was a really high, and it was just getting worse, and the wind was starting up, and I just sat at my hotel for the longest time, and about hour and a half before the race, my assistant coach picked me up and started warming up and everything. And Rushka and my assistant coach just came up to me and they said, you know what, just go run your race. You've done it before. We've planned it. It's no different today. So, and then kind of going into it, he was on the corner, I still remember, and he was just screaming at me to have fun and enjoy it, because my last race in a Jackson jersey, I mean, Jackson gave me a lot. So just having that last race and having him tell me just to have fun with it and go out there and do my thing, it gave me the confidence that I needed, you know, just the reassurance that, you know, look, these guys are backing me up. My coaches who have seen me train, they believe in me, so I got to believe in myself too.
Looking over what Jackson has done as a program, obviously the success they've had as a team and individual, but and you might have not paid attention as much after graduating from high school, but what have you seen recently with the success that they've had? And I'm thinking of Joseph Skoog, who's now running at Grand Canyon, Brendan Charbonneau, who's going to be going into his senior season, I believe, and then Jordan Hansen, another individual. What have you seen from those guys as well as the team ever since you graduated?
You know, I'll start with Joseph. Joseph's one of my best friends. Since he was a freshman my junior year, so I had 2 years with him. I talk to him all the time, run with him a lot when I'm back and stuff. I'll run with him tomorrow. It's just seeing his success, and like I was able to come back when he made state for track, and just being able to see that and see how happy he was. It was a real kind of happy and almost like passing the torch kind of moment for me, because I've seen Joseph work so hard, harder than probably anyone I've seen in the longest time work, and just to see all his, you know, goals come true. Obviously he didn't have the state meet he wanted, but I got to talk to him after that, and we sat down and said, well, this is what comes next. You know, you're going to college and all that. And it's just been great to see him grow, not only as a runner, but as a person. He's a great guy, great person to talk to. Strongly recommend interviewing him because he's a great guy. But and then Brendan, he's kind of a quiet kid. Haven't got to talk to him a lot, but it's been really cool to see him succeed. You know, I saw him today. They were out on the track when I was kind of finishing up. They were going to do a time trial, so kind of excited to check in and see what he ran. And it's great to see that him and Jordan are both still out there doing workouts, just motivated because they know that this next season is very important for them, and they know that Jackson can do some big things. So it's great. It's great to see that, you know, the Jackson tradition is still going, and just having some good runners and a good history is really cool to see.
And that Jackson tradition is all led by Coach Eric Harushka. What are your fondest memories of having him as your coach? And then what about him makes him inspire you to be a great runner?
You know, I don't think that I can pick, you know, just like a couple memories with Rushka. He just a character by himself. He's in a league of his own to that. He is so energetic every morning, every, you know, night run, workout, or whatever it is. He is always there, always willing to help you, always willing to talk. I've had some of my, you know, deepest conversations with him, even after high school. I'll stay in touch with him. I was on the phone with him the other day, just chatting and stuff, because a coach like him, you know, I don't think people really realize it, but like coaches like that are kind of hard to find. Coaches that really care. You know, my senior and junior year, he'd call us up and say, hey, you know, there's this kid, I really think he could be something, but you got to get him out to practice. And I've never seen a coach that would be like, you go after him, like, I think he could be great, and then he'd work with the kid. But if it was another coach, they'd probably just say, oh, if he's not motivated, he's just not going to come. And having a coach like Rushka, it really, really pushed me to like want to run and want to show up every day and want to be there, because just his energy kind of matched mine. So it's great to see that. So I have to say about Rushka, he's probably the reason I've had this success I've had, and the reason that I really made that leap in running is because he would sit me down and tell me like what I could do if I actually trained, and make me want to go and do it. And he motivating all those guys, it really helps when he has everyone there that wants to run and wants to be there helping you out. So it made for some good times with him.
Looking back at your time at Jackson, what's the one thing you're obviously going to remember besides winning a state championship? I mean, what do you miss most about being in high school?
I miss my team. One of the things I'll remember most is Oregon Relays my senior year. We went in there. We came in second in the DMR the year before, and it was a team of all juniors. So we were returning every single person on that team, and it was just like the drive down about that was just so fun. And then going out there, and we ended up winning and setting the meet record, 10:14. And just that experience after with being with all the team, everyone just being together, it was a moment that I won't forget. And we always kind of talk about it after when we see each other, and just that was probably a better moment for me than winning state, just because doing it with your team is a lot better. Obviously we came in second as a team at state, but a lot of those were sprinters and stuff that helped out that I was friends with. But the distance guys, there was nothing better than for me in high school. Great group of guys. I still am in contact with all of them, and that's what I miss most, is just going out for runs with them.
Now, in terms of the reason we don't have a senior, well, no, let me rephrase this. We don't have a track season, and the class of 2020 won't be able to compete this spring. So what's one thing you can tell them as far as we're going to be okay, but in the sense of like everything, like I said, we're all going to be okay?
One thing I've kind of texted a couple people this too is, first off, I'm sorry that they don't get to have that season that I know so many of them have focused so hard on and trained so hard on. But at the same time, when things like this come around, it's hard and it's easy to get mad, but you have to look at it as this is what has to be done. And if running is something that you want to do, and I've said this to a lot of people, like a lot of the Jackson guys have asked me, how do they run in college? But if you really want, there's places you can find to run in college if that's what you want. And running is something you can do forever. Obviously, if you have injuries and stuff, maybe a little bit different. But running that's the one great thing about our sport is it doesn't matter if you are on a team or not on a team, as long as you go out and you set those goals. And I know a lot of the people that I'm seeing right now, a lot of my friends that were seniors, that I still talk to, they've been going out and they've been doing time trials and everything like that just to do it because that's what they love.
Well, yeah,
so
of course.
Right now is just run because you love it. It's a great way to get back to loving running without the pressure of having to compete and everything like that.
Well, you definitely can't complain about the weather we're having right now in Western Washington. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure.
For the time of year it is right now, I'm surprised how sunny it is and hot. I went for my run today and I was just like, holy cow, like it's 65 and this is a heat wave here in Bellingham. So,
yeah.
But you're right. I mean, this is a sport we can do for the rest of our lives. And if we don't necessarily want to race, we can just go out there and run for fun and still enjoy it. So, Matt, once again, I want to apologize for all the technical difficulties I've had today. It's been a crazy day for me as far as trying to connect stuff together. And then with the computer obviously dying right here, shows you how well prepared I was today. So, but I really appreciate your patience. So,
of course.
Yeah.
Enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, thanks for coming on here. For those watching, this is Matthew Watkins, a graduate of Henry Jackson High School, class of 2017. He is now a Coug, a junior, going into his senior year. Lots to look forward for the Cougs this fall. Hopefully they can do some damage in the Pac-12 and then get an NCAA berth this fall. So that about wraps it up for interviews with the Runner Washington today. For those that want to keep in touch and want to watch this interview, visit www.therunnerwa.com or find things on Instagram at @therunner_wa to find all information about anything related to high school cross country and track and field in the state of Washington. See, I can't even talk today, so that's how bad it is right now. But thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.